Hey y'all, how you perking? I hope you're perking good. So, highly requested video with this one. Recently, maybe a week or so ago, I don't know, I'm losing track of days. We had a live stream, and on that live stream, there were a lot of people saying, I'm really worried about whether we'll have a recession or depression coming up. There's a lot of craziness going on with the economy. There's a lot of craziness going on with housing markets. There's just a lot of flux and things going on, and people have a lot on their minds that worries them about the state of where we're going. Inflation being at all-time highs, groceries costing an arm and a leg, people's rates going up higher and higher just so that they can feel like they're earning the same money. I mean, I've thought about that myself. Should my rates for my services go up because everything else has gone up, but I haven't adjusted them yet because I feel too bad to do that. Everybody has done that, and I don't want to if I can try to get away from it. So I feel you. I hear the concerns. We're afraid. Are we coming up on a recession or a depression? What's that looking like? I went back and looked because I thought I had a video on this already, and I do, but the video that I filmed on this was exactly a year ago, August of 2022. Here we are in August of 2023. That was filmed in August of 2022. So this is an update reading. So if you have not yet watched the video from August of 2022, and it was titled, "Is a Depression Coming?" I might title this video the same thing just so you can find both. But that's what it was titled. It was exactly a year ago. You can go back, watch that video. I have not watched that video, so I don't remember what I said a year ago, and that is by design. I wanted to do today's predictions, figure out what we're looking at now with our updates without kind of skewing my thoughts on the process or having any of that interfere with what I see today and what I say today for y'all. So we're going to take a look at this update reading on recession or depression. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the cards over here because on this channel, I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive. And in these videos, we take a look at the tea with the tarot. Don't get scared by that. We got a great track record here on the channel. Have an open mind. Stick around. See what you might learn. See what you might see what you might feel. My co-pilot here, Penelope, in the matching purples. We're gonna just swing over here and move this microphone right here, so we can get on up into this. As always, this is all alleged, just my interpretation, okay? All alleged, just my interpretation. But we're gonna do an update reading here on update about the economy, and I'm going to open this up. I'm not going to zero in specifically just on the US. I'm going to open this up in case anything else comes up globally, perhaps, that really affects the global economy in ways that we need to know. Then I want us to have that heads up. Global things that affect the U.S. makes a big difference, and sometimes how the U.S.'s economy makes a big difference to other folks, our neighbors, Canada, Mexico, our people that we trade with and work with, over there in Europe, wherever. A lot of this stuff ties together. We kind of work together as a planet in some ways. And so sometimes what affects one entity has an effect on others. So we will take a look at that. I am getting shuffled up here. And let's get started. So, let's see. Starting out. Ooh, all right. We got one flying out literally right now. First up, just like, okay then. Oh, we got a twofer. Any more in here? Nope. Okay. We'll take it. We'll take the twofer. We'll take it. Alrighty. So, do I want any context? Not right now. Alright. From what we're looking at here, the good news is that I am seeing some sort of communication, and this is a very worldly type of card. So this feels like communication abroad. So I am seeing countries effectively communicating with each other around economics, around markets, around things that, financial structures, stuff that could really impact all of us globally. I am seeing a lot of communication go on around that. So that is a good thing. Where things are not so good is the Strength card is coming up in reverse. When I see the Strength card coming up in reverse, that's really pulling our attention to some sort of weakness. So there is some sort of weakness. If I'm thinking about, a chain link fence, and we're thinking, okay, somebody got bolt cutters and cut a couple of pieces of this. We've got some weak spots in the chain link fence. I'm seeing some weak links in the chain here. And that does have some people across the globe paranoid. With that, paranoia, unfortunately, is a bit of a breeding ground for negative spirals. A great illustration of that is when COVID hit in 2019, 2020. A lot of people got paranoid and started panic buying, and then suddenly, because of the panic buying, we were seeing more shortages than what we would have seen if people only took what they needed. We were seeing, craziness around missing toilet paper and stuff like that. People feeling like they had to go out and buy bidet attachments and stuff for places like here in the States where people don't commonly use bidets already. So we were seeing a lot of that kind of panic stuff. And what did that cause? That caused worsening symptoms. It caused further shortages and more issues because of people panicking and being paranoid. And so, unfortunately, I do see a wave of paranoia coming up. And again, this top row is kind of talking globally. So I'm seeing a wave of paranoia coming up that results in some weaknesses, and those weaknesses in the chain are going to create issues. So in any way that you can already be seeing the writing on the walls and be intuiting some ways around that are more effective, please just have that on your radar, because we don't want to be a part of the problem. In any given circumstance, we got to think to ourselves, do I want to contribute or do I want to contaminate? And this is a contamination. We don't want to be a part of that. We want to be a contributor to an effective, strong economy. And this, getting into any kind of paranoia or panic, could be a part of the contamination. So easier said than done if anything, unnerving happens, but just throwing that out there that's where they're going to start. In this bottom row, they're showing this Emperor card in reverse. This means that there's somebody, most likely a male figure, who's most likely very powerful because it's coming up as the Emperor. In the reverse position, this is someone who's very controlling, very dominating, very, I hate to throw out such an overused word, but narcissistic. And that word is very, very overused. We could have conversations upon conversations about the overuse of that word, diluting the actual meaning. But this person has narcissistic traits, whether they're diagnosable or not. They have traits, and that is another problem in this situation. Whoever they are, it looks like who this person is most likely someone who lives overseas, because where I am at the space of filming this, I'm in the US. And so if I'm in the States and they're giving me an overseas card as it relates to this person, then this person is likely not someone who lives in or is from the US. It's likely referring to somebody else, and this person does not play well in the sandbox with others. This person is going to be a part of this worldly issue. Okay, they're going to be a part of this. They're playing a role in this. Let's get a little bit more context here for what we can know about this situation. Okay, so 3 straight reversals. And none of these cards are in their best position when reversed. All of these are in a weakened position when reversed. So we're seeing confusion. We're seeing families struggling, and we're seeing people losing money, losing abundance, things like that. So I do see a, globally speaking, broader than just the USA, I am seeing some economic hardships coming up. And when I say coming up in readings like this, it's usually near future-ish. So it may not come up tomorrow, but near future, meaning this is something we will be seeing before it's a year out from now. I really doubt it's going to take until next August of 2024 for us to see this. I think that we'll be seeing this prior to then. So let's get a little bit more on that before we switch gears and kind of take a look at some other pieces. But let's get a little bit more on that. Okay. This card may be coming up. Y'all know, if y'all have been watching my channel long enough, this card, since we're talking about the economy, this card could be representing our U.S. President Joe Biden, and it's in the upright position. So once again, spirit guides are not wanting to shit talk the man. They have tried at length in a lot of these readings to try not to shit talk the man. So whatever you think about him or feel about him, from the spirit guides, we haven't seen him get trashed yet. So I like to give respect where I see things, regardless of any of my political views, and I've explained my political views in previous videos. But I see him in the upright position, so there is something here that he would be a part of. The Queen of Cups being in reverse and 5 of Cups being in reverse is showing that there are going to be some places that are hit harder than others, and some places have silver linings. So these are the places, this represents places that are going to be hit harder. This represents places that have silver linings. In that way, because they put President Biden here, it makes it seem like the countries that... I don't want to necessarily say who are in an alliance with the U.S. Are going to be doing better, because I don't necessarily think that it's the U.S. that is the reason why they would be doing better. I don't want to attribute any success here economically to the U.S. I don't want to make that mistake and make that assumption. It just looks like they're saying, hey, the types of countries that generally are in some sort of collaboration with, partnership, alliance with, whatever, good terms with the U.S., I'm not seeing any kinds of major horrible suffering, like, full-on scary depressions and things like that for those. However, I do see that Queen of Cups in reverse, so that there would be some countries that seem to struggle worse. And let's get anything insight on. Yeah. Okay, so we get the Death card on that. So there could be some significant struggles. Just putting it out there with those certain countries that get hit worse. Those are with countries who, and this is not to sound critical, I'm just reading the cards as I see them, okay? I read what I see, I say what I see, all right? Y'all know that. All alleged is just my interpretation, right? But the way they're describing this is countries with, as the spirit guides are describing, not strong leadership. Now, people will have their own opinions about what countries have strong leadership, what countries do not. or what constitutes strength in leadership, which qualities show strength and which don't. I'm not mincing words. I'm just saying from their point of view, weaker leadership will beget harsher problems in this issue that comes up that looks like it would create some sort of paranoia and panic. It looks like there's a way out of this. It looks like there's some kind of planning and development that can get these countries up and out of whatever they would be going through. So that's a good thing. I don't see this as you're trapped, you're screwed. Oh no. I see a way out, up and out, but just showing that that's what they're saying around this. Now let me pull these up and just start reshuffling them in the deck so we can get further into all of this. I want to pull more. As I'm pulling more, of course, as usual, if you'd like a private reading from me, then BeasTalksAndTarot.com. You can book a private reading, Reiki Energy Healing, life coaching, tarot tutoring to learn how to read the cards the way I read the cards. All of that's available on BeasTalksAndTarot.com. And then also, if you'd like to be a part of the Perk Squad, because the Perk Squad sometimes gets their extra extended videos and things like that. I've got one coming up for them on a day soon with some channeled messages. And if you'd like to be a part of that, then the blue join button below is there. If you don't see a blue join button, you might not be subscribed to me. Click the subscribe button, and then a blue join button shall appear. And that's for the Perk Squad members. There's lots of different perks for the Perk Squad, and you can read all about them on that link if you click it, but one of which is video shout-outs. So, video shout-out to April Showers. Thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. April Showers, happy to have you here. You've been a member for a very long time. I appreciate you lots. Appreciate you lots. There you go. I appreciate you lots. April, I can't talk. April Showers, thank you for being a part of the channel. Happy to have you. Thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. So, shit shuffle. Let's get into the second bit of this, y'all. What else do we need to know about the potential future of any depression, recession, etc.? Scary things about the economy people are worried about. We're wanting to know if there's reason to be worried or if that's just, our own mean minds making us feel scared for no reason kind of thing. So, let's see. Anything else we can know on that? Spirit guides, one at a time. Okay. Interesting. All right, we've got kind of a mix of things going here. A mix of things. So, interestingly enough, we've got several reversed people cards here, but they're not all reversed. And by people cards, I mean, I know there's people on all these cards. I'm talking about court cards. Queens are court cards. Emperor would be kind of considered in there as well. Got a lot of reversals in with that. So there seems to be multiple players in this economic discussion that are contaminators. Remember we were talking about contributing versus contaminating? Well, we've got quite a few people who are contaminators here, and they're contaminators because of how they're seeing things. They're wanting to be seen as successful, look like they're on top of it all. And so they're really kind of pumping the brakes on the type of movement that we would need to see good, healthy economies. And smart people would be able to see this. This is a card about intelligence, and it's upright. Smart people would be able to see this. They would be able to see in which cases certain leaders are basically sitting with their thumbs up their assholes. We could see that. We can see the certain people that were like, maybe if you were not so worried about your image right now, and you were doing something, we might have a better chance. We might have a better shot at it. So I already see that there's certain people. I want to know why about the image thing. Just out of curiosity. Empress card in reverse. Right above the Emperor card in reverse. Worried about their image because just like with the Emperor card that was in reverse that we talked about a while ago, about, you know, wanting to be controlling and domineering and powerful and seen as a certain way, then these other people do too. So it's, honestly, this to me, you know, whatever, this to me feels like those, you know, dick measuring contests where it's like, who's bigger, you know, and it's like, oh, come on. Let's get past that. You're the only one that cares about your image. We don't give a shit. We just want you to do the things that you need to do to make this better. And so it looks like there are ways that things can get better, which is a positive thing. And smart people would already be aware of them. So there are probably some professionals out there, some experts out there, maybe scientists out there, maybe economists out there, maybe accountants out there, you know, whatever, that would know what to do and have good advice. But it looks like these people are not wanting to listen to that because whatever that would do, it would somehow affect them in their ego. And literally, it looks like we are in some ways only able to go as far as egos will allow us to go. And that is very disappointing. And frankly, to me, frustrating and irritating to see that come up in a freaking reading. So there's that. In terms of the potential likelihood, let's just throw out probability here. You know, probability of having a recession, probability of having a depression. So let's do that this way. Let's put up here, up top on the top three, probability of having a recession happen in the very near future. Again, prior to this time next year, probability of undergoing a recession. And then now on this bottom row, probability of going through a depression, like Great Depression kind of level. Okay, so from what I'm looking at here, I am not comforted, but I'm also not freaking the hell out. So that's an interesting middle. And again, let me point to all alleged, just my interpretation. So when we're talking about the recession bits up top here, we're getting two reversals and an upright. The upright is actually not a card we'd want to see in the upright. So effectively, this feels the same as three reversals. This is looking like recession vibes are quite likely, if not probable, you know, potentially imminent kind of thing. I'm seeing that we would need a permanent walking away of certain things that are in place to prevent that. And people are feeling like come hell or high water, I want to cling to my stance. And these people are out here feeling like, woe is me, I want to get inside here. I'm such a victim. I need it to go this certain way. Let me have my way. And they're saying, if we don't permanently walk away from this kind of me, I want, this is how it has to be. I'm being stubborn about the way that it needs to be. And again, that could be wrapped up in the egos of those powerful people we had already talked about before. And if we can't permanently walk away from that type of thing, then this is what we would be aligning with. This is what we'd be lining up with. So high probability, not absolutes. Okay. With tarot, a lot of times there's not absolutes in this. So don't get too freaked out. It's just high probability that we are looking at recession. And again, this reading has talked beyond just the US. So we're taking a look at things kind of on a big scale here. As it refers to depression, though, we have 2 uprights and a reverse. Interestingly enough, just like with this card is not really one you'd want to see in the upright position, but this one is. This one is. So there looks to be more ability to squeeze out of this likelihood. Again, this is that kind of a victim stance, very similar to how these folks are feeling right now. This is resiliency in the reverse position, but this is justice upright. So again, globally, if people, nations, societies, populations, leadership, elites, whatever, if people can't pull themselves, entities can't pull themselves out of their own butts to frickin' look around and see what's going on, then this could end up happening. So it really does seem like, how do I put this? Do y'all ever have, like, say you have a job and you have meetings at your job where there's certain problems that you want to have meetings and resolve. So you go to the meeting and all that happens at the meeting is everybody is bitching about the problem from their own point of view of this is how the problem affects me and this is how the problem affects me and this is how the problem affects me and so it's like we're basically spending an entire hour in that meeting admiring the problem from every angle of why it's a problem and every person who's affected and the what do people call it these days, the oppression Olympics around the problems and the dynamics and this and that and the other. In that meeting, what got solved? Nothing. In that meeting, how many ideas were put forth? Not many, if any, in those meetings that you take part in. It feels like literally what we see on our personal scales that we go through at work is literally just going through here on a bigger scale, like within our actual countries and within our actual global environment. That it's literally that same thing is happening at that level. So if you can think about those meetings and how you feel, how much time and energy and emotional investment goes into those meetings, but then how much actually comes out of it. And, say people do say, well, I think this is a solution. Are you kidding me, you dumbass? This is a solution. Are you kidding me? That might make the problem worse. This is the solution. And then we can't agree on the solution. And so then we don't agree on anything. And then nothing happens. I know y'all know that. Raise your hand in the comments somehow. I don't care how you do it. Do the little emoji with the raised hand or put somebody that looks corporate or in a meeting or whatever to show if you've been in those meetings and you know what I'm talking about. I cannot be the only person here that knows what it feels like to sit through one of those meetings and be like, oh my God. That is literally happening at a broader level right now. And that's why they keep putting up these whole, because this is from the spirit guide's perspective. They're like, you got to get away from that mindset or it'll tank you. You got to get away from this mindset or it'll tank you. Focus on the justice card. Justice, fairness, balance, restoration, laying down the law, etc. Focus on that, and that can steer the boat in a good direction. So it seems from this high probability of us running into some recession times. Just putting that out there. However, a nicer looking probability of us avoiding depression times. That looks better. Doesn't look great because I'm still seeing these 2 cards that really need to be worked on. Doesn't look great, but looks better. Looks better, especially if we can pull our focus away from these themes and put our focus on these themes instead. If we can, again, try to contribute rather than contaminate, then that's a help. And I know, us little old me, I can't do anything, little old me. There's enough little old me's out there that if we always kind of think of ourselves as, let me function under the Justice card. What would that look like? What would that be? What would that feel like? What would I say to function that way? In what way can I, emulate the Justice card on that today and be a contributor and instead of a contaminator? If we're all doing that, there's bound to be some movement from that. There's bound to be something to come of that. A lot of times we get into a bubble where we're like, I can't change anything, so I'm not going to try it all. Well, that damn sure will seal the fate right there. So there's things that can be done. They're showing us there's things that can be done. This is not all throw the baby out with the bathwater. We might be able to avoid this kind of depression vibe. I'm seeing some good signs around that. The recession vibe, not currently looking promising to be able to avoid that, but there's still potential. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try, just doesn't look super positive right now. But we want to continue to try, because if we can manifest this one here to avoid the depression one, if we can do that, then that would be awesome. And it looks like that's quite a possibility here and something that we can contribute to in our own little ways. So I do like seeing that there's hope. That's what we want to see in readings, right? We want to know that there's hope. There's hope. There's hope here. So I'm sure I could go on and on and on about this all day. I've already been going on for over a half hour, so I'm going to tie things to an end here. Again, if you'd like a private reading with me, BeasTalksAndTarot.com to schedule a private reading with me. I've got some channeled messages coming up for y'all shortly here in the future, and there's lots of other reading requests that people have been putting out. I do a lot of videos by request, and so I keep taking your requests and adding them to my request consideration list, and every time it's time to film a video, I go through that consideration list. Spirit guides, what are we feeling today? What resonates? What are we feeling? This one? Okay, we'll do this one. And that's how we do. So here's the update reading for update on the one that was done exactly a year ago in August 2022. Now we've got one here for August 2023. Hopefully we will not need one for August 2024, but if we end up needing that, somebody somewhere put it on a calendar and remind me, and we will get there. And as always, I like to put B-rolls at the end of this video so that we have something that's lighthearted, fun, maybe makes us laugh or smile, silly puppy shenanigans, things like that at the end of the video. So stay tuned for the B-roll to have a little bit of a lift here at the end, get rid of some of the heaviness, shake it off, end on a high note. We will do that. And of course, don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. Bye, y'all. Get away. I'll have to intervene in a minute if they don't quit ganging up on you.
They have this much time. I guess it's 3 minutes and it's like super rough.
See the squeeze, she's wagging her tail back there. She wants to get in, she
Yeah.
just doesn't know how.